Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and this is another Fatal Friday video. And this is the series of videos where I highlight finishers in Mortal Kombat 1, like Brutalities and Fatalities. This is not just an ordinary Fatal Friday video, though. This is going to be a holiday special. It turns out that it is that time of year again when all things should be honestly probably really depressing, but instead we have people putting lights on houses, putting lights on trees, lighting candles in menorahs, and in some cases possibly even putting poles up in their houses. And no, I'm not talking about strippers, I am talking about Festivus for anyone who has watched Seinfeld and remembers what that show was. There are quite a few holidays that seem to fall in the December month, so it just made sense to go ahead and have a holiday special episode. We are going to be picking the character most appropriate for this time of year. And this time of year is usually advertised as having a bunch of snow, ice, and just a winter wonderland kind of feeling. And as you can tell, the character I am choosing for this video and this occasion is Omni-Man. And before anyone thinks to themselves, what the hell is this guy talking about? What does Omni-Man have to do with, the holiday season? Well, allow me to explain. There is only one reason why Omni-Man should be considered the perfect character for this video, and that reason happens to be the suit he is wearing right now. I took one look at this giant pink monstrosity and thought to myself, this reminds me of A Christmas Story, the old movie from the 80s. If you don't know what I am talking about, allow me to enlighten you. In the A Christmas Story movie, the main character is a kid named Ralphie, and at one point in the movie, Ralphie gets these ugly, embarrassing pink bunny rabbit pajamas as a gift. And he is forced to wear them begrudgingly in front of his family. And that is what this pink suit reminds me of. Those pink bunny rabbit pajamas. And besides those pajamas in that movie, Ralphie was traumatized by way more than just the pajamas themselves. The kid was also getting his mouth washed out with soap, getting shot in the face with a BB gun, and even took a boot to the face by a department store Santa Claus. And that Santa was basically like, get the hell out of here, I'm not giving you the gift you want. So I'm going to be treating this episode like it is a sequel to A Christmas Story. Now, I know that there is an actual sequel to that movie somewhere on some streaming service, but I haven't seen it. I mean, it could be good, but I don't know. And for our purposes here in Mortal Kombat today, we are going to ignore that sequel actually exists. We're going to consider this a different timeline, and here, Ralphie never truly got over that horrible Christmas. He grew up, got swole as hell, grew a glorious mustache, is suddenly being voiced by J.K. Simmons and apparently can fly. And well, this Christmas, his childhood trauma has boiled over to the surface and he has snapped. As a result, he is putting on his modified pink pajamas one more time. Ralphie is back and he is pissed as hell. Who is he pissed at? Well, whatever poor fucker matches up against Ralphie in the Kombat League. Best of luck to them, we are going fatality hunting.
Take one. Action!
Oh, when I left my microphone on when I started this match against Subzero, that is not normal for me, but I do end up catching it by round 2, so it's not too big of a deal. I wasn't talking or anything, but my opponent probably still had to listen to the sound of me mashing buttons the entire first round, and it's very possible he was also picking up some of the echo of the TV for when I was playing the game. I don't normally play with the volume on, but that's also entirely possible, so my bad, random person that I'm fighting against. As a Fatal Friday video, I am hunting for a specific finisher with Ralphie here. The one I am shooting for is a very simple one. I want the fatality named like Putty. That fatality is a Mortal Kombat reenactment of the way Omni-Man killed Red Rush in the Invincible series. And that kill was done by squeezing Red Rush's head until eyes popped out and the skull collapsed. Just an absolutely brutal scene that is definitely Mortal Kombat worthy, and I am glad that they adapted it well in this game. Overall, the creators did a great job adapting all of Omni-Man's kills, at least a bunch of those kills, into attacks for this game. And you can't help but love seeing so much attention to detail. Now, fatalities are usually really easy videos to make for me. All you have to do is beat the opponent, doesn't really matter how, get to the finish him or finish her prompt, and then press about 4 buttons at the right distance and initiate the cutscene for the fatality. During the finish her, finish him prompt, you do just have a little bit of time to work with, but there's nothing stopping you from actually inputting the buttons that you need. So yeah, fatalities should be super easy. I'll go ahead and emphasize the word should because this is a pretty long video, even for a gimmicky holiday video. So what's up with that? Well, things did not go according to plan and things just kept happening that kept me from getting the damn fatality. I'm going to show some of it, but there is definitely more than I show in this video. I'll explain more about what I am talking about when we get there, but this fatality took way longer than it should have for me to accomplish. Now, this does not have anything to do with anything really, but I do like the fact that we are fighting a Sub-Zero user with the Day of the Dead costume, the Dia de los Muertos. And please forgive me if I pronounced that terribly. I'll be the first to admit that my pronunciation of things when it comes to Spanish is a little bit, we'll call it iffy. But I'll be more than happy to give it my best effort. So yeah, we have Day of the Dead Sub-Zero going against Ralphie from A Christmas Story in his modified pink bunny pajamas. Oh damn it, Sub-Zero, did you not get the memo that we are doing a video about the December-themed holidays? I'm gonna need you to go into your changing room and get your costume updated for the occasion. But no, I do like that costume on Sub-Zero quite a bit. If I was into the idea of paying for alternate skins for characters, I definitely would have because I like that one quite a lot. As it stands, I am cheap and I am just not willing to do that. And overall, I am enjoying this fight against the Sub-Zero user. It is a good fight, there's no crazy shit talking or anything like that, just all around competitive and fun. So even though there is still plenty of fight left to go, I'm going to go ahead and thank my opponent in advance for participating. I am enjoying it. And speaking of my opponent using Sub-Zero, let me go ahead and go back to the fact that I was sorta kinda half-heartedly hinting that Sub-Zero was going to be the character I would be using for a holiday-themed video. There is a possibility that that goes from being a random throwaway joke to actually being reality. I have been considering doing some Sub-Zero recordings and maybe tacking one onto this so that I have one joke holiday video and one kind of actually appropriately themed holiday video. So this may end up being something of a double feature scenario. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. But if I do, I guess you'll already know it because there's probably 2 videos available to watch. So yeah, I am playing around with that idea, and if I end up doing it, I hope you enjoy both videos. After all, besides our pink bunny buddy over here, Ralphie, what could be more holiday themed than Sub-Zero with his ice controlling powers? So yeah, stay tuned, that might actually happen. So yeah, I won the very first match of this set pretty easily, although in this second match, this person has actually given me a decent amount of trouble, and I suddenly find myself in another hole as this person only needs one more round to win this match of the set. Fortunately, I start to claw my way back into the fight with a few really well-timed combos, and well, we end up making the comeback in the end and taking this round, so the match actually goes into round 3. Next, I make the prediction that he is going to use Sareena's blades at a distance, so I just duck under those. Then, I retaliate by getting a pretty big combo of my own immediately after, and then I get another really big combo immediately after that as well. So suddenly, in the very last round of this possibly final match of the set, things are going incredibly well for me. So it looked like I would have the ability to close out the entire set while also getting the opportunity to highlight the fatality that I wanted to do for this video. That is, of course, unless this person were to make a really, really impressive and unfortunate for me kind of comeback in this match.
Finish him! The realms are mine. Omni-Man wins.
Well, I dropped the fatality, I did a little breakdancing with Ralphie and either did the wrong button inputs or I had the distance wrong. So that's one thing that has gone wrong so far with this fatality. What else could go wrong? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. You are going to see me do this a couple of times, I think, throughout this match and possibly in future matches. After I completely dropped the fatality combination for the previous fight, I found myself very paranoid that I was getting the button inputs wrong, and I would frequently go into the moves list, go into the finishers, and to double check myself to see if I had the right combination of buttons whenever a fight was just starting and I knew I had a few seconds to spare. What I am thinking that I did in that previous fight was instead of doing down, back, forward 3, I think I just did down, back, and then 3, and I completely skipped the forward part, which caused Omni-Man to go into his Viltrumite stance, which is just him hovering and staring at you. And I couldn't cancel the Viltrumite stance in time to actually get another shot at doing the fatality, so I think that's what it was. I think I just simply thought I hit the forward button and didn't. Instead, I hit 3 before I hit forward, and it just didn't really read the input the way I wanted it to. I could be 100% wrong about that though, but who knows? It just didn't happen, so I guess we're moving on to the next fight, which is against this Liu Kang user. Speaking of which, this Liu Kang user was a little bit of a talker, and as you'll possibly know from my previous videos, I don't like to highlight what other people say, especially whenever they are shit talking in a video. So I have completely removed the audio for this fight for the most part. It's usually easier just to remove the audio entirely rather than try to edit around it, so yeah, you'll get to solely enjoy the sound of my voice for the remainder of this fight. And even though I'm resorting to not using any sort of audio as a way of getting around what the other person was saying, I did end up finding another way that would have been a lot better. Turns out that there was an option available to me the entire time to where I could have recorded this fight without there being any sort of interrupting audio from my opponent. And then I could have used that recording instead for this video. Of course, I did not know that that was an option whenever I was doing this recording, but yeah. Fortunately, in the future, not counting some videos that I have already recorded, I will have a reliable way of making it easier on myself to get around whenever other people are talking during parts of the game that I would like for people to be able to see and hear as opposed to just watching. For now, though, I am more than happy to ensure that there is no dead air by just continuing to talk my way through the remainder of this fight with Liu Kang. Now, on paper, Liu Kang versus Omni-Man should be favorable for Omni-Man since Liu Kang, I mean, he has good combos, but more often than not, I see people using his projectiles. He has a low projectile, a high projectile, and just some pretty good options all around for zoning. And thanks to Omni-Man's Viltrumite stance, he has a really good way of just avoiding all of it, and then potentially punishing you for even trying it. Even so, I was not exactly an Omni-Man expert whenever I did this fight, so even though he has a lot of good tools for anti-zoning, you probably won't necessarily see me using them to the best of my ability. Well, actually, you will see them used to the best of my ability. You probably won't see them being used as well as they probably should be being used. There we go. That's the right way of saying that. Oh well, though, even if I'm not playing him optimally, I believe that Ralphie can pull this off and that maybe we'll get this fatality the second time around. Now, as I recall, I was having a lot of trouble in this fight. One thing that I was doing fairly well was I was opening up the combos for pretty big damage with Omni-Man. Problem was I was only opening them up. I was only starting a combo, canceling into Viltrumite stance, and then grabbing Liu Kang and throwing him in the air. For some reason, I was not finishing these combos. I would either jump up in the air and completely miss him, or I would jump up in the air, start a combo, but not really finish it as well as I should have been finishing it. Now, normally you can pretty much expect Omni-Man to get 30% or more every single time he throws you in the air and starts a combo. It's one of the reasons I really did like playing as Omni-Man because you don't really need meter for anything and you still get really reasonable damage for everything that you do. But for some reason, I just was not able to make the most out of my opportunities, which led to a lot of these fights with Liu Kang being a lot closer than they should have been. And normally you would expect situations where you're just not closing out the fight to cost you the fight entirely, but I was still somehow staying in these things, which was kind of nice. I am more than happy to take good fortune that keeps me competitive. I actually forgot how long this fight was. I think I saw multiple rounds go down to only 30 seconds remaining earlier. And whenever I was deciding what to talk about for this portion of the video, I thought I had more than enough material to get me through this fight, but yet I am now having to improvise my way through the very last little bit of it. And Liu Kang caught me whiffing on a combo and then punishes me with a fatal blow. It's hard to tell if he actually predicted that that was going to happen or if that was just a YOLO moment that worked out for him. Either way, I was suddenly in a very dire situation as I had just lost about 35% of my remaining health. or my total health from my remaining health. I made a joke earlier about how I'm really bad at pronunciation when it comes to Spanish, but suddenly I can't even speak English anymore. And suddenly we were both just one hit away from losing this first round, and things were very, very tense. But I was able to pull it off by going into Viltrumite stance, going behind him, and landing another hit. All right, things are looking very good here. So in my very next fight, I should 100% have another shot at the like Putty fatality. But once again, I'm going to emphasize the word should because this happens.
Too slow, too weak, too easy.
Fatality? Omni-Man wins.
So in that fight, we had a talker. As soon as I started the combo and grabbed Liu Kang by the head to fling him into the air, the Liu Kang user literally shouted into his microphone, "Fuck that!" and then immediately bailed on the match and did a quitality. Just hearing a very loud and sudden "fuck that" and then the explosion of viscera happening immediately after was hilarious. So that made reviewing this old recording very fun for me, because I did not hear that live. And I guess I don't blame him. After I landed or completed that combo, if I completed it without dropping it, that person would have been on very low health or possibly just been killed. And that would have resulted in me winning the entire set, and I guess he just did not want me to have that victory. At least not in the way that I wanted. Which is a bit of a bummer considering what this video is about. This is not about a quitality. I should have had one more shot at the fatality. And as a result of the quitality, I never got that opportunity. It was completely taken from me. So yet again, something went wrong, and no fatalities for Ralphie. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, crap like that just kept happening, and I'm sure you are getting the idea at this point. So I'm not going to continue to show you every single failure to get the fatality whenever I was trying for it. Let me just go ahead and skip ahead to the match where it finally works out for me. As fate would have it, the opponent that I was going against was yet another Liu Kang user when it finally worked out. And this one was also a talker, so you will not hear too much gameplay in this one. And fortunately, I found a little bit of a workaround for the fact that this person was talking the entire match to include when I executed the fatality. Last thing I wanted was somebody being a very poor sport whenever I finally got the fatality that I was trying to highlight. I'll explain how exactly I got around this problem whenever we get there, but fortunately, not everything had to be muted for this final match. And my opponent was very fortunate in the fact that they just did a YOLO fatal blow and, well, it happened to land. Now, in theory, I had enough of a life lead to where this should not concern me, but even so, a person getting 35% damage on you should also get your attention and make you take the rest of the fight a little bit more seriously because suddenly they actually have a fighting chance of getting back into the fight with just two really good combos. Adding to the concern just a little bit, for some reason I was having a lot of trouble just depleting the very last little bit of health that Liu Kang had, even though one hit would have done the trick. And little by little, Liu Kang actually chipped away at my life lead and suddenly was one combo away from winning this thing. Eventually, I just stopped fucking around and did an armored attack and just hit him and won the match. Why I didn't do that sooner, I'm really not 100% sure. I guess it didn't occur to me to do that. So the very first win of the entire set goes to me in a fight that was much closer than it should have been. Good job, Ralphie. And if you look to the bottom of the screen now, you'll see something that was not there before, and that is a little taskbar with the options to pause the playback or just change the speed at which the footage is playing. The reason that is now suddenly at the bottom of the screen is because we are no longer using my recording of the live fight. Because that person was talking so much and would have interrupted the ability to view the fatality without someone talking over it, I went into the playback options for Mortal Kombat 1 because that's actually a feature whenever you're looking at your combat card, I think it's called. So I went ahead and did that and then watched the entire final match and realized that that type of recording within the system does not play any audio from either player. So suddenly I had a little bit of a workaround whenever somebody was talking so much that it was ruining the quality of the video and my ability to commentate on it or show off what I really wanted to highlight. And overall, there really wasn't a big quality change. The only real difference is what you're seeing at the bottom of the screen, so that works for me. I wish I had found that sooner because I have other videos that I've already recorded where this was kind of a problem and I have to just awkwardly edit around it. But now that I know that that exists, one of these videos should be a lot easier to make in the future because there are no shortage of people in the Kombat League just talking all kinds of crap. And like I've said before, nothing necessarily wrong with that. Sometimes it's all just run-of-the-mill stuff that's kind of funny to listen to in hindsight, and sometimes it's a little bit nastier than it should be. That is just the glorious world of the internet. Or I guess trying to keep with the theme of this video, they just do not have the holiday spirit. What a damn shame that is. We are nearing the finale of this final matchup, so I'm going to go ahead and silence myself and allow everyone watching to enjoy how it ends and enjoy the Putty fatality executed by Omni-Man, or in the case of this video, we're going to keep calling him Ralphie. Go ahead and do your thing, you angry pink bastard.
Finish him! Fatality! Omni-Man wins.
And if you are curious what my opponent was saying that caused me to have to record this video in such a unique fashion, they were simply saying that they did not care if I won, they weren't trying hard anyway. Well, thanks for going out of your way to let me know how much you don't care that I won. I did really certainly get the sense that you did not care. Happy holidays to my opponent, and thank you for making yourself available for Ralphie to execute the Putty fatality. I'll go ahead and start up the outro now, and at the very end of the outro, I'll go ahead and show the fatality one more time for Omni-Man / Ralphie. And I know this video is a little bit different than the other Fatal Friday videos that I have done, not by a gigantic margin or anything, but I did go out of my way for this one to have something of a theme to it, and just make a bunch of references to things outside of Mortal Kombat that I thought might be kind of funny given the time of year and the occasion. It was kind of fun to record the video and kind of keep up with that theme and keep up with jokes surrounding that concept, so yeah, I enjoyed making the video, and I certainly hope anyone watched it enjoyed it as well. Oh, and it also wasn't just a joke that I was hinting that Subzero would be the person I was going to do a holiday-themed video with. There actually are videos that I have recorded for Subzero, even though I have not talked about the fact that I was going to use that character in the future, so you do have that to look forward to. For the time being, though, thank you for watching this video. This has been Thor's Entertainment and another Fatal Friday video. Again, my name is Thor, take care, and I will see you next time.
Finish him! Fatality! Omni-Man wins.